Welcome to the Volunteer HQ, your headquarters for all things volunteerism. We are excited to have you and get you on board with this valuable resource. The HQ will not only connect you with volunteers, but it will also serve as an all-in-one platform to post projects, message volunteers, and track hours, making reporting easier for both you and the volunteer. Now let's get you signed up as an agency. You'll want to head over to uwbroomevolunteers.org. You'll see here that you can sign up as a volunteer, but in our case, we want to register our organization by clicking here. Here, you will see all of these fields that you can fill in. Some are required and some are not. Go ahead and fill in what you can, and remember that everything you see here can be edited later on. Note that all the information here is forward-facing, meaning the public can view it, except for agency manager email, your email, additional notification recipients, and contact information. The contact information is your own information that will be used under your own personal account, which can also be used for volunteering at other organizations. Once all of the required fields are filled in, you can request your account. You should now be receiving an email confirming your registration and prompting you to review and sign the user agreement form. We ask that you follow the prompts in the email and email the user agreement within 5 days of registering on the platform. Until the agreement is signed and emailed, you will not be able to publicly post needs and recruit volunteers. But until then, you are able to go in and begin using the website and testing it out. This page that we are on now will be the landing page you will see every time you log on to the platform. This is your access to editing all things about your agency and posting needs. An important note to remember is that you can always access this page by going up to the top gray bar where it says My Agency. Before we get started maneuvering your agency page, let's go over the different aspects of the Volunteer HQ. It's important to remember that there are 3 different abilities when using the HQ. You will have managerial access to your page, meaning that you can edit your agency page, but you can also volunteer yourself as well. A trick to differentiating the two is that everyone, both volunteers and managers, can see this left panel, meaning volunteers themselves will mostly be maneuvering the website using this pane, but only agency managers will have the option to view My Agency at the top gray bar. Whenever you are editing needs or adding needs, make sure you are always clicking on My Agency. Now that we have that covered, let's get into customizing your page. Depending on what you filled out when you initially registered, many of these fields will be blank. Let's go over what some of them mean. You can go ahead and add your agency logo, just make sure that the image is in a square format. To the right, you will see where it says Agency Managers. Your name will be displayed with a solid star. This means that you are the primary manager. If there are other people in your organization that need access to editing the page and adding needs, you can enter them by entering their name and email. Note that they will have to have already created a volunteer account on the platform. By adding them as an agency manager, they will have all of the same access as you, the primary manager, except the ability to add and change managers. You are able to have up to 12 managers. Let's jump ahead to additional notification recipients. This would be used if there is someone that needed to be updated on what is going on the platform, but doesn't need the responsibility of a manager, editing or adding needs. Jumping to the left, you will see where it says Customize Link. This allows you to create a custom ending to the URL of your agency page. It can be anything you want, but we recommend using something that is easy to remember. Here, you can add your hours of operation, and below that, you can select the causes that apply to your organization. This is beneficial when volunteers are going to look for volunteer opportunities. They are able to filter out which causes they are interested in. Beneath causes, you will see where you are able to add a video. By inserting a URL to a YouTube or Vimeo video, it will embed on your agency page where volunteers are able to see it. Next, there is a section to insert an EIN if you choose to. You'll notice that there are many of these blue buttons titled Update Agency Info. You'll want to make sure to click on this often to ensure that you are saving your changes as you go. Moving to the right, you will see the Contact Information section. This is forward-facing, meaning volunteers will be able to see this information in order to contact that person at your organization. Next, you'll see where you can insert your organization's location information. This is helpful because it will actually display as a map on your organization's page. The field for additional location information is helpful if there are any helpful hints in getting to your organization. The links field to the right are handy because they will generate buttons on your page to external social media pages or your organization's website. By adding your description and what you do, you give the volunteers insight to your agency. If you scroll down, you'll see that you can insert photos. Feel free to add photos from your agency, and they will be viewed as a slideshow at the bottom of your agency page. That's basically it as far as editing your agency's information. Remember that this can be edited at any time. Next, let's jump into adding needs. You can always access your agency needs by clicking here on the horizontal toolbar on Needs. This is not to be confused with the Needs button on the left panel. That's for the volunteers to see volunteer opportunities. Since we are a new agency, we haven't posted any needs yet. You can do so by clicking on the blue button, Add New Need. It's important to remember that while you can technically add a new need right now, it won't be viewable by anyone, including you, until the agency is approved when the user agreement is signed and emailed. So, once the user agreement is filled out and emailed back, your organization will be approved within a few business days, and you will now be able to see the needs that you previously created. This is the need creation page. You'll notice some of the fields have an asterisk, meaning they are required to be filled out. First, you will put the need title, then a short description of what the volunteer will be doing. The next field, labeled Privacy, allows you to choose whether everyone on the platform can see and respond to this need. By making the need private, you will be able to take that need URL and share it as you choose, maybe through email or social media. An example of using this private option would be if you are looking to recruit or track your board hours, and you know who you are looking to send it to. The initiative field is used to group certain volunteer opportunities. An example of an initiative in this case would be Day of Action. By selecting this, all volunteer needs with this selected will fall under this initiative. Duration is helpful depending on what your volunteer need looks like. If it happens to be every week on Tuesday at 5 o'clock, you would opt for reoccurring shifts, weekly, and fill out the rest. If it's a project with a morning and afternoon shift, you can select custom shifts. We definitely recommend going through the options to see which works best for the volunteer need. Depending on what you choose for the duration, the next fields may change, but to keep it simple, we will have an ongoing opportunity. Hours just mean the number of hours the volunteer will spend, and hours description means the time of the day. Team registration is good because it allows groups to come together to volunteer. Most always, we recommend to allow for team registration, but you can choose how you want this to look. Next, we move on to qualifications. This is helpful if you need some additional information from the volunteer. This can look like a variety of things, like asking what their t-shirt size is, or if they have a driver's license. If you ever have additional questions that you need to ask your volunteers, please do not hesitate to reach out to the email displayed on the screen, and we will add that in for you within a few business days. Next, we get into minimum and maximum age for your volunteers, family-friendly, outdoors, and wheelchair accessible. Below, you will see where it says attributes. I like to remember this field like they are hashtags, or in other words, short bits of description that you think the volunteers should know. Examples of this include snacks are provided or bring a change of clothes. The option to opt for a virtual need is also available. Next, you will see where it says address. This is beneficial if the address of the volunteer need is different from your organization's address. We recommend putting in the address even if it is the same or different because it will generate a map for the volunteer to view. Below, you will see where it says interests and abilities. This is just another way of volunteers to filter out what needs will most suit them. You'll also see where it says clusters, and this is another way of grouping volunteer needs. Additional notification recipients, similar to the same field on the edit page, allows you to enter emails of the individuals who are not agency managers and you feel need to receive updates surrounding what is happening within that need. Site Supervisor allows you to enter the name and email of the individual that will be responsible for the volunteers while they are volunteering. You also have the option to add a waiver. If you have multiple, we ask that you combine them into one document as it only allows for one document to be uploaded. As always, you can go back and edit the fields that you have filled out, but for the time being, you can go ahead and create the need. Remember, if you have not submitted your user agreement and have not been approved yet, your need will not be visible. If you are, then the need should now appear under your Needs tab. You'll notice that it will be yellow, meaning that it just needs to be approved, which will happen within a few business days. If for any other reason your need is not on the list, you'll want to click on Show Inactive and Show Expired Needs. In the future, always revert to looking under these categories if you cannot see a need you once created. You will see under the need itself that you can choose to edit it, view responses, or view the need. You will not have any responses until it is approved and volunteers start responding to it. Now let's say it is approved. You are able to see who has responded and can view the need. When you go to view the need, you are able to pull up the need URL and share it however you would like. This is what the volunteer sees when they pull up your need. Going back, you will be able to see who has responded to the need. Here, you can export responses to an Excel file and message responders. You can even change the fields which you see by clicking on Table Filter. Now that we have some responses, let's look into adding volunteer hours. Let's start from the beginning. Go to Needs, and underneath the need, click on Responses. If a volunteer has responded, you will notice that at the end it shows a clock. Here is where you can add their hours. Now let's say a volunteer is on the platform, but has never responded to the need, but did attend the volunteer event. In that case, you would go back to the Needs tab, scroll down to manually add a new need response. There, you can select the need and type in the email address of the volunteer. From there, you can then go back to responses and add their hours. Another area you can add hours is under the time tracking category. If volunteers add their hours in themselves, it will be located here at the top, and you as the agency manager have the ability to approve them or deny. If you scroll down, you can add in their other information as well, including miles traveled, and you can even add a note. You can even track live hours while they are happening under the check-in category, and you can see who has checked in under the checked in now. An easy way to add hours for those who have responded is by going to the stats category. Here, you will see all of the responses to your needs. You can filter out which one you view by date, need title, and more. You can even hide responses that already have their hours inputted here. By opting to add default hours, you are accounting for the number of hours that were stated in the need description. You'll also see here where it says events. Events are things that people can sign up for, but not to volunteer. This can look something like an Easter egg hunt or maybe a barbecue. If you ever have additional questions, we have an informational page on the left titled Nonprofit Resources. Here, you will see many topics, and if you scroll all the way down, by clicking here, it will redirect you to an even bigger database with more information and even a search bar.